Hi, I'm Shahriyar Mehdi, and today we are going to understand the basic concept of arts and science. Today we are going to study the differences between arts and science and what are the words which are used in English to explain these two concepts. And then we will identify all those synonyms as well. As we are aimed to score high in the GRE exam in verbal section, so we have to focus on synonyms. So we learn synonyms through the conceptual understanding of the concept by developing a framework or developing a linkages between two things. So let's start today with arts and science. What is arts? What comes to your mind when arts comes to your mind? What is arts? Arts is basically which is something conceptual and subjective, whereas science is something objective and theoretical. So we'll start with arts because we have to understand the concept first. So let's start with the arts. Okay. Arts is conceptual and subjective. When something is conceptual and subjective, it means it is conceptual and practical. Because when you apply something, you apply that concept. So here there is a link between conceptuality and practicality. Then what are the synonyms for practicality? What are the synonyms for practical, for being practical? First, pragmatic, then substantial, then virtuoso, then connoisseur, which means expert. Then we have experts, and then we have experiences. An experienced person is a practical person. And if someone is experienced, it means he follows the philosophy of utilitarianism, which means he wants something quick for the satisfaction of his self, like he's self-interested for his own advantage. That kind of people are called experienced people because they drive value, they seek utility from things, so we call them experience. And those experienced people are called vicarious people because vicarious is a synonym of experience. So yes, there is a deep link between experiences and learning. So we will focus on experience because it is related to arts. We have to limit ourselves. So we will limit ourselves towards the experience only, not the ultimate outcomes of those experiences, which is learning and wisdom. So forget those two things, focus on experiences. Coming back, if arts is conceptual and subjective, whereas science is objective and theoretical. When theory comes to your mind, like theory, it means you have to develop something on the basis of some grounds. So you build hypothesis. So to build a theory, you build a hypothesis and you test those hypotheses to develop a theory, right? So theory and hypothesis makes a word hypothetical. Science is hypothetical. So there is a word hypothetical, which means unproven, simple, which is not proved yet, because you just have only built the hypothesis. You haven't proved anything. So I have derived another word that is unproven. And if something is, if arts is practical, it means the science is impractical because it is limited to theories. There is no application of those concepts. That's why it is impractical. Okay. If something is impractical, it means it is immature as well. If something is immature, it means it is inexperienced, right? If something is inexperienced, it means it is uninformed. Then, if it is uninformed, then there is a high frequency word in English, and that is called sophomoric. Sophomoric. Then we have neophyte, nascent, which means in the beginning. Again, implies the meaning of inexperienced person. Then we have juvenile, puerile. So all these words give us the meaning of a kid, or in a role of adult having a mind of a kid. Something that denotes basically immaturity or inexperience or impracticality, anything. So coming back, second difference between arts and science. Science provides knowledge and arts provides application and execution of those knowledge, skills and attitudes, right? So in order to execute that knowledge, what do we require? We require people, we require situations, we require events, incidents. We want experiences where we can apply that knowledge. So connect such execution with society. So people who are artists, they are extroverts, because here comes the execution. They are extroverts, they are social, they are jovial, they are convivial. And convivial people likes to drink, eating, drinking and merriment. But do not confuse it with gourmet and gluttony, which has a negative connotation in drinking, because it is forbidden in Islam. Eating too much, drinking too much, talking too much. Excess of anything is bad. So if you eat too much, that is gluttony or gourmet, it has a negative connotation. But if you eat to the extent to socialize people, to socialize with people, or to be hospitable, in a sense that you eat because those people, your friends, they eat too, because you are sitting in a gathering or somewhere, or in a situation where you are supposed to eat together. So eat that much. You are not in a habit of eating by choice. This is what I have to say. That is gluttony. Going out for a purpose to eat something again and again, repeating the same pattern every single day, that is gluttony. Do not confuse it, okay, with convivial and jovial and social, because being social is not a bad thing, no? So come back, come towards the science. Okay, hold on. such people, artist people, who wants to execute or apply their knowledge, they go out in a society, meet people, face situations, execute that knowledge. They improvise their knowledge as well, because situations are different, they are uncertain, they are undecided, they are unproven, they are variably interpretable, right? They are variably interpretable. So you need to be extempore and improvised. You don't have to plan, concerted or arranged in a way to destroy the whole situation. Be an artist. This is what I have to say. Use your mind instead of preoccupying with the planning and preconceptions or suppositions. Because people who are more prone towards science, most of the time, they are preoccupied with their thoughts. Because they are introverts. They live with themselves. They are absent-minded people, in short. They are not artists. So, they face pre-obsession, prepossession, presupposition, that includes preliminary assumptions, introductory and preparatory. Preoccupation that leads to preconception, which is a very bad thing. Artists never appreciate preoccupation, because that leads to absent-mindedness. Extroverts are basically jovial, social, and hospitable. So if they are hospitable, it implies they talk too much. And if they talk too much, there is a high frequency word in English which is garrulous, loquacious, voluble, chatter, rambling in thought in a tedious way. What about introverts? What are the words in English to address introverts? Introverts are basically like seclusion. They like solitude. They like reclusion. They like isolation. They like separation. They like cloistered life. They want solitary confinement. They want to go to the sanctuary or a monastery. Doing what? Enjoying their solitary confinement. But that leads to disintegration, because if they have secluded themselves in a solitary confinement, then obviously people who are attached to them, they would not gonna see him, of course, because he has confined himself in a room or a sanctuary or a monastery. So that isolation leads to disorganization, like disconnect. It develops a disconnect between other members of the society. Yes, and that is tantamount to an act of irregularity. Irregularity gives another word, that is sporadic, and such irregularities is tantamount to the act of shunning society, because introverts don't go out, they shun society. They stay home, they live in their own place, at their own place, they mind their own business, they follow their own nose. So that is all. Thank you very much. That is all for today.